What's up, guys? We're doing a little side mission here. We were starting, Dad was getting the engine put together for the 55, and we had a little opportunity arose for some wheels and tires for the GTO, so we'll take you along with us and go do, for the drag and drive event. So we'll take you along and show you what we're test fitting. So we're gonna head out to our friend's place that's got the wheels and tires and do some test fitting and see how they look. All right, so we're out at his shop. He cleared out a little spot for us. This is actually where the orange 55 Chevy used to be that you saw in our barn find video. And this is where we got the 455 for the 55 Chevy that was in a 70 Bonneville out back. So cool tidbit of information.
Steve's a big Pontiac.
Yeah, he's a big Pontiac guy as well. He's got a 65 GTO. Anyway, we'll show you guys when we get these things test fitted. Okay, went through, got all my head bolts cleaned, got them all laid out. That way I know which ones are which and where they're at. Got the heads up here on a couple pieces of wood and they're ready. Got the bag pulled off, so I'm gonna go through, clean up the head surfaces, get those prepped and ready. That way we can get our head gaskets out and start getting everything in place and go ahead and get these heads torqued on, so that way they're just out of the way. We don't run the risk of knocking them over, tripping over them, whatever, and that way they'll be on there and done. So anyway, let's get to it. We'll set you guys up and probably throw a little time lapse together and go from there. Okay, as you just saw in the time lapse, we got the head set back on, and basically what I did is run all the, got the head bolts all in the right location, ran those all down just until the head just touched the seat, not putting any pressure on them. And you could probably see I did put, which I don't normally, I've never done it on any small blocks I've done in the past, but I did put a little sealant on these lower ones, the non-hardening stuff, to kind of protect with the coolant passages through there, which some people recommend it, some don't. I've never done it, never had any issues. But we did do it on those lower ones at least. Everything else looks like it's good to go. So right now, being that I don't do these enough, I don't remember the exact torque sequence. So I'm going to get our manual out and get the torque sequence for a 327, which I'm assuming it's probably the same for others. But we'll get those out and get that going. But as you can tell, these things look really nice. As you just saw, we got them all torqued up. So these things are all finished up. And as you saw probably before that clip, there's a sequence right there for the same year as what this 327 is. So we got those all dialed in, and I was pretty stoked to finally get to use this thing. Since I've been doing some engine work as this one, and we got the Pontiac engine to do for the 55, and I think another one as well. I was fortunate enough to get on the truck when a guy's tools got repoed, and that thing was almost brand new, and I got it at least half the price of what they are new. So I was pretty stoked to try that thing out. Worth its weight in gold. It's awesome. So pretty happy with it. Had a lot of fun getting to use it. I know they recommend if you don't do a lot of engine building or anything that requires torque on a daily use to take the batteries out when you store it. So since I'm not going to be using it until we do the heads on my dad's car and some other stuff in a few days, I'm probably going to pop the batteries out of it and wait till I have to use it next. But anyway, we'll be ready to start putting the pan on it and stuff tomorrow. It's the end of the day right now, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, bag the engine back up, and then we'll be ready to start on that oil pan. Okay, since we got the heads all torqued and done, finished up, jumped over on the intake, and I just got this little guy out. Literally just plastic nibs, just really soft plastic. I mean, you can see it wears away pretty quick. And I just really didn't use any pressure at all and just kind of laid this thing on there and cleaned up the old gasket material. Turned out nice. You know, you're not digging any metal. It literally just kind of, you know, I don't know, that plastic just kind of polishes it up, really. So I'm really happy with it. So, now that I got that all cleaned up and finished, what I'm going to do is flip that thing over and start polishing up the top side of it, because it's that EDM coating or whatever they call that. I don't know, I've seen a few of these. It's not your normal polished. It's like kind of like a powder coating, I think, in a way, basically. So I'm going to try to get this cleaned and polished up as best I can, because it looks pretty grody. Obviously, we don't want to put it on there the way it is on when we freshly paint that engine. So we'll go ahead and flip this thing over and start getting it cleaned up. Wish I would have done a before and after on this thing. Holy cow. She's shining now. Got a little discoloration because of some fuel there and over there. Nothing I can do about that. but not too shabby. Ought to look good for a hot rod like this. Okay, different day, and we finally got some parts in. So we are ready to continue on the old 327. So let's get this out of the way. And got the new timing cover, which is right here. Got the seal pressed into it, and no timing markers on the case itself. It bolts in right here on the side with that center alignment part there. And then we got this in, which you can see it has the steel collar, which is pinned, way better than the plastic. So that'll be ready. And then obviously, you saw me get the heads on it. We're good to go there. So what I'm probably going to do is start out, get the timing cover put on it, and then we will probably spin the whole engine over and get the oil pump bolted back on it and start getting everything ready for the pan gaskets. So let's go ahead and get started on this and hopefully make some killer progress this afternoon and getting this thing put back together. And also, I got my spark plugs in here. We took an old set, broke the porcelain off of them. That way when we prime and paint engines, we can put those in place and you're not trying to destroy new plugs or using whatever else to plug them off. And they're nice and obviously don't have the ends on them to be in your way while you're painting and doing stuff. So it just works out really nice. So if you guys are ever painting an engine, you got an old set of spark plugs around, just cut the porcelain off of them, break them, whatever you want, and you got yourself a nice set and to plug up those holes. That way you're not getting anything in there or have to have a big spark plug in your way. Anyway, I'm jibber jabbering, so we'll go ahead and get this stuff knocked out. That way we can flip it back over after we do the pan. Okay, as you just saw, we got the oil pan on it, got the oil pump bolt torqued, and got the drive rod in there as well. And I just dropped the lifters down in there as you were probably watching. Had them soaking for however long, a couple weeks, so they should be good to go. And then we got the push rods down there that have already been measured and everything for this cam. So they'll be ready to drop right in, as well as the roller rockers. So we'll go ahead and start getting a lot of this stuff set up so we can move on to getting the intake ready. All right, good morning, new day. And over here in the body shop, I went ahead and got some stuff shuffled around. And as you can see here, I went ahead and wire wheeled the engine, which I talked about doing, and got everything I needed to masked off, and got it all high temp primed. Now I didn't get crazy. I really didn't do inside the bell housing because there's no reason to. But anyway, she's looking pretty good. So, show you guys what we're using. I know I've mentioned it, and I think I've put this in some older videos, but I'm not sure. This stuff is the bomb. So if you want it, get it. They make a ton of OEM colors. I know they do the Pontiac, the early kind of robin egg light blue. And then they do the metallic blue, which is on the later engines. I think they even do the lighter blue they used in the latter part of the 70s, early 70s and everything. This is just basic small block Chevy orange. If you guys remember, going back to the first 1 or 2 episodes of the Camaro build, someone painted the engine bay gloss black and then painted the engine black and then just had a chrome intake, valve covers, and air cleaner. So it blended in so much that it looked like it just had a floating intake and valve covers just in the, you couldn't even see anything. So as you know, we cleaned the engine bay all up, detailed it, and we're soon going to be doing like the wire loom to, pretty it up. And then I think with that engine bay, going small block Chevy orange and changing up like the air cleaner, we've already got the new valve covers and painting it orange, and we did the headers. This thing ought to look really nice sitting down in there and give it a, more of an original early kind of hot rod vibe. So anyway, set you guys up while I spray this thing. I'm gonna shake this up, get the gun ready, and we'll get to paint this thing. Okay, so basically got a nice light tack coat on it. As you can tell, the coverage isn't all there. So what I'll do now, you can see it's still real light. What I'll do now is let this thing tack up for about 10 minutes or so, and then come back over and do my final passes. So we'll set you guys up on a little time lapse here when I do my other ones, and should be good to go. All right, what's up? Got the engine back over to the good shop, and we went ahead and got the balancer pressed on, which if you know anything, you know the early small blocks or have a press-on balancer, and we didn't really care to install it the way you install these, so we actually drilled and tapped the crank just so we could install it easier and use a crank bolt as a safety so this thing doesn't sling off. So if we can look down in there, if we can, should be able to see some threads. Let me get us a light in here. Let's see here. There we go. There you can see the threads. So that way we got it installed, brand new balancer. and timing marker, so we should be good to go. Interrupting your regularly scheduled program, and I ran out of silicone. Got the front portion done, started on the back, and I thought, oh, I'll go grab our other tube. There was no other tube. So went ahead and wiped it off the front and wiped what I had started off on the back, so that way it doesn't set up. I did get the gaskets, a light portion around the ports, and that holding our gaskets in place, so those will be okay. Then we're gonna run to lunch so I can get some silicone, reseal her up, drop that intake on, and bolt it down, and we should be good to go. So we'll go ahead and hit you back here with the time lapse to finish up getting this thing siliconed up with our new tube. All right, now that we got that all done, so what I'm doing, as you saw, I went through and did the torque sequence twice. Went through once, got everything seated, went through a second time, went tight, and then that way, that'll give the silicone some time to set up, and then I'll go through and torque them to factory spec. So that'll be for another day. I wanna let it cure. It's Friday, so I'll probably just let it cure up over the weekend, and then torque it, you know, when that time comes on Monday. But to end this engine video off, because everything else that I'm probably gonna be doing, besides the water pump, is gonna be pretty much in the car. So that'll pretty much end off the assembly video in this part. Gonna go ahead and unbox these valve covers real quick and set them on there and just see what they look like. We gotta do that before we end this video off. So we'll set you up real quick and we'll take these things out. Okay, let's see what we got here. Can't beat those. Oh yeah. Okay, so what I'll probably do is get some B-roll cinematic shots of this thing for you guys. That way we can see it in a little bit better detail, because I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And like I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of polished intakes like this. I think it would look a lot better just like the cast style flat aluminum with these valve covers, or just an orange intake, you know, whichever. But it's what we got, and it still looks good. and you know, it is what it is. But basically, that's going to conclude the engine video itself, which I believe I just made all into one video, because then besides the water pump, which I still have to get it's coming in, and we'll paint it, bolt it on, and then this thing's ready to go back in the car itself, minus the accessory stuff. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and end this off here, because it's not too big a deal bolting the water pump on it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little engine assembly series of a video. Shouldn't say series, just video. I like the way it turned out. The paint turned out great. The valve covers turned out awesome, which I'm going to throw a couple bolts in these things so they don't fall off. But overall, I'm very happy with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think the next one we'll get into actually getting this in the car, as well as finishing up the parking brake stuff, because once again, we're waiting on a few more parts, but luckily they're in stock. Should be here early to mid next week, and we can get to finishing this car up and doing all the final prep stuff we need to do with it. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling on, and we'll leave you off here. And like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the B-roll here at the end of the video, and we'll see you in the next one.